Hi, you're going to be working on a case study this week that you're going to be submitting, and I thought I would jump on and give you a video and talk to you a little bit about my expectations regarding this case study. You have 3 videos from which to choose. You've got Sheldon, and he's obviously a poor listener. You have Raymond, he's learning about listening, and then you have anger management, and there's some listening issues there as well. And you're going to assume one of the main characters, probably the main character's position, and analyze their listening ability according to what you find in chapter 6. Now, I've provided a template and I expect you to use that template. So I expect the title to be which video, which one of the 3 videos have you chosen to actually analyze and do this case study. And then you've got the what is the listening goal? And there are 3 types. You could have just pleasure for just the enjoyment of listening for no intended purpose. And then you have those who listen for information. There's information to be gleaned, and this should be information type listening experience because information is being given, and so you should be looking for that information. And the last is supportive. It's more relational, maybe like a boyfriend-girlfriend type listening, where what they're saying is important because you're wanting to build a relationship and you're listening to build that relationship. So you're going to determine which of the 3. Now, you're not going to just state information and that's it. You're going to give me a small paragraph saying why you believe it's information, what evidence within the video that you've chosen shows that it's information, and you're going to cite the textbook. You're going to use information from the textbook that supports that with parenthetical citations. The next one you're looking at is the actual process, and there's 6 processes that you're going to assess. Now, some of them might not apply. For example, mindfulness, okay? Our first one on page 171 is mindfulness, which is the being fully there. Were they fully there? Were they fully present? Were they distracted, or were they mindful? And if they're mindful, how were they mindful? If not, then how not? And explain that. The next is the physical actually receiving. What was the physical setting? Were there distractions that you need to consider? And again, use the textbook as a reference point. The third is the selecting and organizing material. Now, what allowed them to know what was important? Was it a tone of voice? Was it an emphasis? Was something repeated? How did they select and organize the material? Was the sender, was the speaker sending one message, but the receiver, the listening, the main character, missing the total main point of what was being said, and instead did not select, did not organize well in the listening? And again, reference what you find on page 172 and 173 to support this. Now, I'm just going to keep going, and then I'm going to tell you what that paragraph under process will probably look like. With interpreting communication, I'm talking about culture, and I've actually labeled it as culture because it really is the differences between age. The culture between a student's age and a professor's age is often different. We have a Canadian American culture. We have different cultures from different upbringings. What has influenced the culture, and are those cultural influences part of what is being considered as they are listening? The responding is actually the head nodding, the eye contact. Are they showing that they're responding when they're listening? And then the remembering. What do we do to remember? And just to be aware of the fact, if you see in our reading that poor remembering is very common. 50%, of what we remember after 8 hours, 35% is what we remember. So keeping all of this in mind. Now, what you're going to do inside that paragraph is probably give a sentence to each of these elements that is pertinent to the video that you have referenced. So you could very well have issues regarding mindfulness, and then after that you put would 171, and then your next sentence would be about the physical setting and them receiving it, and you're going to reference some points within the video, and then you put maybe 172, that parenthetical citation, because your information that you're using is from 172. And so chances are inside the paragraphs, you're going to have parenthetical citation after every sentence. Now, if there's nothing that applies except from what's on page 171, you can put it at the end of the paragraph, but chances are very slim that's the case. You need to consider all that's there. I want you to consider what I have explained with process and go ahead and apply it to the rest of that case study. You're going to submit this page document, and it's due on Friday. Please make sure you know what's in the chapter so that you can apply it to the case study that you're conducting.